Hello everyone, this is Amir Mohammad Shahsavarani from AUA Framework team. I'm so glad to have you in this video, in this very beginning part of our instructions. We would like to announce you the AUA framework with which you can do many things in the realm of ASP.NET Core. For a beginning step, we would like you to be familiarized with our AUA framework. First of all, you can see in our website auaframework.com in the tab About that we have introduced our framework. AUA resembles ASP.NET unique architecture, which is both backend and front-end template for your usage with sort of issues like repository services, models, mapping, reporting, web API, etc. And you can use it in MVC, MVVM, and any other sort of instructions you would like to do. For example, you can make it with clean codes, you can make it with onion structure coding, we can use it in domain driven designs, blah blah blah. And you can see please note that we have written in the site that it is for ASP.NET Core 6 and Visual Studio 2020. But at the moment, we are announcing you the 8th version of ASP.NET Core, which you can use with Visual Studio 2022. For your first step, you can go to download tabs, as you can see, and we have two plans. We will recommend you for your understanding about our system. First, download the basic plan, which has anti-framework structure and authentication issues that you can test the system and you can be familiarized with all of these parts we have written here. But if you want to use it fully afterwards, you can submit to this part full feature. And telling you the truth, we can even use any custom driven issues and we can tailor any part as you want. Okay, for announcing and for familiarizing with this AUA framework, you can come to this page, download, and basic, okay, freely. You just tap the download part. In this page, as you can see, we have versions .NET 8, .NET 6, .NET 5 in two versions, MVC and Web API. But for 8, we have just given you CQRS DDD Web API version 1 that you can put download and take it. Okay, so simple. We can make here AUA 8, for example. It's a zip file, okay, and we just download it. Good. So my download is done now. As you can see, it's a zip file. Okay, we can unzip it with WinRAR, for example, or 7-zip, no matter how. Just we need to make it downloaded. Okay, this is the extractor. You can come here, and as you can see at the bottom of the page, AUA project name SLN. This is a solution file. Click on it and open with, as you can see, my default IDE is Visual Studio 2022, and you can select it as well. We will recommend you to use Visual Studio 2022 because it's free and you can use all the issues you want. So for the first run, as you can see, Nugget wants to work on it. It takes a little time depending on your system, depending on your internet. And this is so simple. We do have the AUA project here. Good. So as you can see, we have some layers here: domain layer, domain entities layer, infrastructure layer, models layer, service layer, vast application layers, web endpoints, which we will go further to get introduced to all them. Okay, for a first layer, we do have domain entities layer, okay, in which we are just putting our entities of projects here that we will test them all together. The second layer, as you can see, we've just named it infrastructure layer. In the infrastructure layer, we've put together a common layer, data layer, and infrastructure layer, which were excluded in our previous versions. The common layer were somewhere else, and we have just put all them together here in order to simplify everything. So in our common layer, we do have shared generals and public issues which are used in all layers, like extensions. In our second layer, in the infrastructure layer, we do have data layer. In data layer, we're just putting connections and communications with our database or databases. It's almost dependent on your complexity of your system. Our third layer in infrastructure layer is infrastructure layer exactly. The infrastructure layer comprises of all infrastructures of our project, which we will gonna take a deep look on it in our afterwards videos in the future. And you can see in infrastructure layer that we put issues for our command lines, we put issues for pipelines, we put issues for query and for reports, which all of them would be analyzed all together in our next videos. Next phase of layers are here named models. Models layers constitute of some models which are used in our project. Accordingly, we're just announcing them all, but firstly looking base models, domain events, dynamic aggregates, and general models. Base models are usually issues that we are just announcing and we are just introducing them so that our project will be just the same for all issues. We are just describing them so that you understand the whole project, and we just here now want to make a big picture for your idea. We'll explain all them together. Our next part in these layers are services layer, in which we are having two parts and two domains of services. First is background services. First domain, which are our background jobs, which we will explain it further. And next are domain of services. Domain of services include entity services. Each entities we do have in our project, general services, report services, and utilities. All of these parts include, for example, we have made some predefined, a template named accounting. As you can see, we've put services here in two parts: contracts and services. In contracts, we have put together all interfaces, okay, and in services we've put the service file. For example, account role service, as you can see here. In contracts, account role service, okay, which is just the infrastructure and the interface. Then we do have here service, account role service, okay, that we can implement everything all together as you have seen. Okay, we're going just now to next part. Next domain of layers in AUA framework is vast application. In vast application, we have three parts. First are commands. As you can see, our commands and command handler in the project. The next part is called queries, which these queries are, some queries without paging, simple queries for some simplistic results that we can say queries taken from database, and results are shown without paging. For example, list of accounts of a given user, we can say, or a member, something like this. That these queries are not regular queries and not extensive and not advanced, some primitive queries we can say. But in our reports, we do have a system of advanced reports. These reports, these queries in reports part include queries which have paging, count, and some other favorite concepts for using in grid systems that we will speak about it later. And the last part, as you can see, is web endpoint. This web endpoint, this layer, is the system that we can use in order to understand the system, in order to get runs of it, in order to use it and showing the result. We are not gonna take a deep analysis here about it. We just want to run the system so that you have an understanding, the big picture, the greater idea about this AUA framework, and we will discuss all these parts together step by step with you here. In order to running the AUA framework system, we shall do some prerequisite issues. First of all, this part in web endpoints, we shall right click on it and make this running as default, set as a startup project. That you can see it's bolded. Then in our package manager console, we shall put this part, default project, in our data layer. Then we can use entity framework core commands, add, you can see migration, migration. Okay, for example, naming it init db, for example. Okay, so first, AUA project name as a startup project. Second, put default project here in package manager console as data layer. Then add migration init db. Okay, everything would be started and it takes time. As you know, it is dependent on your system, on your software, on your hardware, and anything else, these issues. Okay, taking time, but succeeded. Good. Okay, you can see here our project is built in our infrastructure. We can see it in our data layer. Everything's here. You know, if your system is vast and you have many models, you have many issues for your database, you can take this layer and put it in your solution. Come here so that your web developers, your program developers can work with it better. Otherwise, you're just up to it. Okay, usually we just put it here. So we can see that this is the database. Okay, in SQL Server, as you can see, we don't have database now here. We're just making in console update database. Okay, and everything will be done, and we'll put everything in our SQL Server right away. Okay, it's done. It shall be on our SQL Server system database. We'll make some refreshes here. As you can see, AUA database and all tables are here. Account role, update, client role, user account, user access, and this. Okay, this was our first part. We will just describe these tables all together in the next video. Thank you for coming. Thank you for choosing AUA framework, and thank you for your hearing our video. See you soon.